What if the pain you faced wasn't punishment, but God's plan to reveal your greatest strength? Could your storm with a narcissist have been heaven's training ground, not a defeat? What if everything they tried to destroy in you only prepared you for something greater? Your suffering wasn't meaningless. It was a divine setup for your transformation. Life is not always gentle, and for those who have stood face to face with narcissistic abuse, that truth hits harder than most. These trials, draining encounters, spiritual exhaustion, emotional manipulation, felt like they were sent to crush you. But God had a higher plan. You were never the victim. You were the vessel, a warrior in the making. When you stood in the fire, God wasn't distant. He was the one refining you, reshaping your identity, and calling out your power. You emerged not because they changed, but because you refused to be broken. So why did God allow you to walk through that storm? What did it all mean? These are not questions of defeat, but of revelation. Let's dive into 5 powerful ways God acts when a narcissist tries to destroy you, and how every battle was a setup for your victory. Your pain had a purpose. Life isn't just about comfort and ease, it's about trials that test us. Battles we never saw coming, and moments where we are forced to fight for our faith. And if you have ever been in the presence of a narcissist, someone who drained your spirit, tested your patience, and tried to break you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But hear me today, you were not the victim. You were the lesson. You were placed in their life by divine design. God doesn't make mistakes. He put you in that fire not to burn, but to refine you, not to destroy, but to elevate. You were victorious. Not because they changed, not because they admitted their wrongs, but because you walked away stronger, because you stood firm in faith when they tried to shake you. So why did God allow this experience? What was He teaching you? And how have you come out on the other side? Victorious. Let's dive in. 1. Do life's trials and refinement. You were tested like gold. Life has never been about walking on smooth roads or basking in endless sunshine. No life is about trials, about walking through valleys so dark that you wonder if the light will ever return. It's about battles that come without warning, storms that shake your very foundation. And yet, in the middle of those storms, God is refining you. Some of you have walked through a storm, so fierce it felt like it would swallow you whole. You were placed in the life of a narcissist, someone who drained your energy, twisted your kindness into a weapon, and made you question your worth. At first, you thought it was love. You thought it was fate, something meant to be. But what you didn't realize was that you weren't placed in their life by accident. God doesn't make mistakes. He didn't put you there to suffer, to be controlled, or to be broken. He put you there to be tested, to be refined like gold in the fire, because gold does not come out of the ground, shining. It is buried deep hidden beneath the dirt, and must be purified by intense heat. Only then does it shine. And you, my friend, were in that refining fire, that toxic relationship, that betrayal, that manipulation. It was not designed to destroy you. It was designed to shape you, because God doesn't allow His strongest warriors to go through easy battles. He places them in situations where their faith is tested, where their patience is stretched, where their character is molded into something unbreakable. Every tear you cried, every night you lay awake wondering if you were losing yourself. Every moment of self-doubt, it was all part of the process. God was stripping away the parts of you that needed to go, the insecurity, the need for validation, the willingness to settle for less than what he had planned for you. And now, look at you. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are no longer the same person who walked into that storm. The narcissist thought they were counter-trolling you, but in reality, they were unknowingly being used for your growth. What they meant for harm, God used for your transformation. They tried to make you doubt your worth, but instead, you discovered it. They thought they were breaking you, but in reality, they were sharpening you. They thought you would never walk away, but you did, and now you don't just survive, you thrive. So don't you ever look back on that chapter of your life and see wasted time. That wasn't wasted time, it was training ground. God was preparing you for something greater. And now you carry the lesson, but not the burden. Now you walk in victory, not in regret. Because what was meant to break you only made you shine brighter if you believe that God was refining you, not breaking you. Comment below, I am stronger than ever. 2. The role of the narcissist in your growth, you were the lesson. When you first encountered the narcissist, you might have believed it was fate, that they were meant to be in your life for a reason. And you were right, but not for the reason you thought. You weren't sent there to be loved by them, to be cherished by them, or to build a future with them. You were sent there to be the lesson. You were never the victim. You were the revelation they never expected. Some people go through life, never understanding what real love looks like they they only know control. They only know how to manipulate, take and deceive. They live in darkness, blinded by their own selfishness. And then you walked in, you with your pure heart, your forgiving nature, your ability to give without expecting anything in return. You were different. You weren't like the others who played their games or reinforced their toxic ways. You showed them something they had never seen before, true unconditional love. But instead of valuing it, they took advantage of it. They fed off your kindness, they drained your energy, they tested your patience, and yet, through it all, you remained faithful to who you were. You gave, you forgave, you believed in them, even when they did not deserve it. And that's what made you the lesson. The narcissists thought they were using you, but in reality, God was using you to expose, was them. They thought they were in control. But what they didn't realize was that you were sent into their life as a mirror, a reflection of everything they lacked, a reminder of what real love, real compassion, and real selflessness look like. And deep down, they knew. That's why they fought so hard to break you, because your presence forced them to confront who they really were. But here's the part they will never admit. They will never forget you. No matter how much time passes, no matter how many people they try to replace you with, you will always be the one that got away, the one they couldn't fully control, the one who walked away and became better, not bitter. And you didn't lose them. They lost you. You were the rare one, the one who loved without conditions, the one who stayed when it was hard, the one who fought for something they were never worthy of in the first place. And now they have to live with the fact that they mistreated something precious. But let me ask you something. Was it really a loss for you? No, it was a lesson in discernment, a lesson in self-worth, a lesson in understanding that not everyone deserves the love you have to give. You were never meant to stay in their life. You were meant to show them what they will never have again. And that is victory 3. Victory over toxicity. Your strength broke their control. The narcissist wanted you to believe that you were weak. They wanted you to think that without them, you would crumble. That without their approval, you had no value. They whispered lies, planted seeds of doubt, and twisted reality to make you question everything, including yourself. But let me tell you something right now. If you were so weak, why did they have to work so hard to break you? See, deep down, they knew the truth. You were stronger than them, all along. They saw something in you that terrified them. Real strength, real faith, real power. And that's why they had to control you. That's why they had to tear you down. Because if you ever truly realized your worth, you would walk away. And the moment you did, make no mistake about it, this was a battle for your mind, a battle for your identity, a battle for your faith. And for a while, they had you fooled. They had you believing that their approval mattered, that their love was worth chasing, that if you just tried a little harder, gave a little more, maybe they would finally see your worth. But hear me today. You were never the one who needed to change. You were never the problem. You were the one holding on the one, giving the one loving with a heart that was never meant to be played with. And now you see it clearly. Look at where you are now. You are free, free from their manipulation, free from their mind games, free from the weight of constant trying to prove yourself to someone who was never meant to understand you. They may have thought they won. They may have believed they had the final say. But what they didn't realize was that the moment you stopped reacting, the moment you stopped engaging in their chaos, the moment you chose peace over their control, you shattered their illusion of power, because their power was never real. It was a fragile illusion, built on lies, deceit, and your willingness to stay. And now you have taken your power back. Now you walk with your head high, no longer seeking their validation, no longer chained by their words, no longer weighed down by their manipulations. And let me tell you something, the narcissist will never admit it, but they feel your absence. Oh, yes, they do. Because no matter how much they try to act like they've moved on, no matter how much they pretend you never mattered, deep down, they know the truth. They lost someone they could never replace. And you didn't lose anything. You gained clarity. You gained wisdom. You gained freedom. You walked away, and in that moment, you won. That is victory. 4 lessons from the experience. Wisdom you will carry forever. There are lessons in life that can only be learned through fire lessons, that words alone cannot teach. Lessons that require you to walk through the valley, endure the storm, and come out on the other side forever changed. And you have been through that fire. You have stood in the presence of deception, endured the weight of manipulation, and survived the slow erosion of your own self-worth at the hands of someone who was never meant to keep you. At first, you did not see the warning signs. You believed in their words. You trusted their actions. You gave them the benefit of the doubt again and again because that is who you are. You love deeply. You forgive freely. You see the best in people even when they cannot see it in themselves. But here is the truth. You now understand not everyone is worthy of that kind of love. Not everyone deserves access to the kindness in your heart, the patience in your spirit, or for the generosity of your soul. Some people take and never give. Some people destroy and never build. Some people only know how to consume, draining everything in their path until nothing remains. And now you know how to recognize them. You have learned what manipulation looks like, not just in the obvious ways, but in the subtle creeping moments where control disguises itself as love. You have learned that real love does not ask you to shrink yourself, It does not demand that you prove your worth over and over again. It does not punish you for setting boundaries. It does not twist the truth, shift the blame, or leave you questioning your own sanity. You have learned that the moment someone makes you feel small, the moment someone chips away at your confidence, the moment someone makes you believe that you are too much or not enough all at once, that is your warning sign. That is the moment you walk away. You have learned that your love is not meant to be wasted on those who see it as a weakness. Your kindness is not an invitation for others to take advantage of you. Your presence is not a privilege for just anyone to have. And most importantly, you have learned that your worth does not come from them. It does not come from their validation, their approval, or their acceptance. It comes from the one who created you, the one who called you by name before you ever took your first breath. Now when you look in the mirror, you no longer see someone who was abandoned. You see someone who was set apart. You see someone who has been sharpened by experience, strengthened by pain, and elevated by wisdom. You see someone who will never, again, tolerate less than they deserve, and that is something the narcissist will never understand. They will never comprehend the power of someone who has been through the fire and come out refined. They will never grasp the strength of someone who has walked through darkness and still carries light. They may have taken your time, your energy, even your tears, but they did not take your future. They did not take your purpose. They did not take the wisdom that now lives inside of you. And that wisdom is your armor. It is your protection. It is the reason why you will never be deceived in the same way again. So no, you did not lose. You gained everything. You walked away, not just with survival, but with the clarity to see people for who they truly are, with the discernment to protect your peace, and with the strength to never again hand your power to someone who was never worthy of it. And that is the greatest victory of all five, the refining fire of God. God used the pain to prepare you. God does not send his strongest warriors into easy battles. He does not place his chosen ones in places of comfort and ease. He sends them into the fire, not to burn them, but to refine them. And when he allowed you to walk through the pain, the deception, and the heartbreak of that toxic relationship, he was not punishing you, he was preparing you. At first, it felt like suffering. It felt like endless prayers that went unanswered, like a test you never signed up for. You cried out to God, asking why. You questioned why he allowed you to love someone who could not love you back, why he let you endure the weight of manipulation, why he kept you in a situation that drained your soul. But hear me today. God was never ignoring you. He was working. He was shaping you. He was burning away the parts of you that once tolerated less than what he intended for you. He was stripping away the insecurities that made you believe you had to prove your worth to someone who was never capable of seeing it. Look at gold. It does not come out of the earth shining. It is covered in impurities. It must be placed in intense heat, melted down, and refined so that everything that does not belong is burned away. And that is what God was doing in your life. That fire, it wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to transform you. You may have felt abandoned, but you were never alone. God was with you in the fire every sleepless night. He was there, every moment of doubt. He was watching. He saw every tear. He heard every prayer. And while you thought he was silent, he was preparing you for something greater. See, if God had let you stay where you were, you would have settled for less than his best. If he had answered your prayer the way you wanted, you would have remained in a place that was never meant to hold you. So he allowed the truth to reveal itself. He let you see the narcissist's heart for what it really was, not to break you, but so you would finally be free. And now look at yourself. You are stronger. The pain that once kept you bound has become the very thing that set you free. You no longer see love through desperation. You see it through wisdom. You no longer chase validation. You walk in confidence. You no longer shrink yourself to fit into places you were never meant to be. You stand tall, knowing exactly who you are, and that is what the enemy fears the most, because now you cannot be deceived. Now you cannot be manipulated. Now you know the power of your worth. So don't ever look back and regret what you went through. It was not wasted. It was not meaningless. It was preparation. God has great things ahead for you, and He needed you to see yourself the way He has always seen you, as strong, as chosen, as victorious. His mind was full of visions, and now you shine like gold. 6. Transformation and strength. You are not the same person. Pause for a moment and look at yourself, not with the eyes of who you were, but with the clarity of who you have become. You are not the same person who walked into that storm. The version of you that once excused red flags, ignored the whispers of your own intuition, and fought tirelessly for someone who had no intention of protecting your heart. That person no longer exists. There was a time when their words had power over you, a time when their approval dictated your peace, when their affection given and taken at their convenience and left you grasping for something that was never truly there. But that time is over. You do not walk the same. You do not think the same. You do not love the same, because the fire that was meant to destroy you has instead burned away everything that no longer serves you. When you were in the depths of that storm, you did not see it as transformation. It felt like loss. It felt like rejection. It felt like the very foundation of who you were was being shaken. You questioned your worth. You questioned your love. You questioned whether you were the problem, whether you weren't good enough, whether if you had just been a little different, more patient, more forgiving, more accommodating, then maybe they would have loved you the way you deserved. But hear me today. God never intended for you to stay in that place. He never intended for you to mold yourself into someone smaller, just to fit into a space that was never meant to hold you. He never intended for you to keep pouring into a well that could never satisfy your soul. So He allowed the breaking. He allowed the fire. He allowed the storm to strip away the parts of you that once accepted less than what He had for you. Now you walk differently, not in fear, not in desperation, but in confidence. You no longer cling to relationships out of loneliness. You no longer entertain people who drain your spirit. You no longer settle your heart, once so eager to prove its worth. Now stands firm in the knowledge that you were valuable all along. Your love, once given freely to those who only knew how to take, is now guarded with wisdom and discernment. Your spirit, once entangled in confusion, now walks in clarity and power, in freedom. And the narcissist, they don't recognize you anymore, because the version of you they once controlled no longer exists. The person who tolerated deception, who excused manipulation, who believed empty words over repeated actions, that person is gone. They thought they were breaking you, but in reality, they were building you. They thought they were taking away your power, but in reality, they were pushing you into your purpose, and now you walk in a strength that they will never understand. You are no longer the person who begs to be chosen. You are no longer the person who justifies mistreatment. You are the person who walks away when God tells you it is time, and that is what true transformation looks like. 7. The best is yet to come of the future of the modern world commentary. There was a time when you thought you had lost everything. A time when you sat in silence, replaying the past, wondering if you had wasted years of your life on someone who never truly saw you. The enemy whispered lies in your ear, convincing you that all that time, all that effort, all that love was for nothing. But hear me today. Your past was not wasted. Your pain was not pointless. Your story is not over. Everything you went through, everything you endured, was preparation. God never allows pain without purpose. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of self-doubt, it was all shaping you for what is ahead. Think about a soldier before battle. Do they step onto the battlefield? Untrained, do they face the enemy without preparation? No, they go through relentless training. They are tested, pushed, broken down, and rebuilt, so that when the time comes, they are ready. And that is exactly what God was doing in your life. He was training you, strengthening you, preparing you for the future He has already written. You see, the enemy wanted you to believe that the best days of your life were behind you, that because of this experience, you would never love the same again, that you would always carry the scars, that you would never fully heal. But the devil is a liar. Your best days are not behind you. They are ahead of you. The love you deserve, it is coming. The opportunities you have prayed for, they are on their way. The life that God has ordained for you, it is waiting for you to step into it. And the only reason you are ready for it now is because of what you have been through. You had to walk through that fire so that you could emerge refined. You had to experience counterfeit love so that you would never again settle for anything less than real love. You had to endure manipulation so that you would never again allow anyone to play with your mind or your heart. You had to lose them because God's plan for you was never about keeping you in a cycle of pain. It was never about allowing you to remain in a place that did not serve your purpose. He let you experience that season so you could finally understand the worth He placed inside of you. And now you move differently. You no longer chase you, no longer beg to be chosen. You no longer tolerate what depletes your soul. Because now you know who you are. The enemy tried to use that narcissist to destroy you, but instead, God used them to transform you. He used them to show you what you will never again accept. He used them to sharpen your discernment, to strengthen your spirit, to break the chains of unhealthy patterns you didn't even realize you were in. And now you walk with authority. Now you step into your future, not as someone broken, not as someone abandoned, but as someone who has been rebuilt by the hands of God Himself. So don't ever look back with regret. Don't ever let the enemy make you believe that your past defines you. Your past refined you. It shaped you. It prepared you. And now you are ready. Walk forward with boldness. Walk forward with expectation. Walk forward knowing that what God has in store for you is greater than anything you have left behind. Because your story is not ending. It is just beginning. And the best is yet to come. There comes a moment in life when you stop looking at your past as a burden and start seeing it as a blessing. A moment when you realize that everything you went through, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the sleepless nights, was not meant to destroy you, but to awaken you. God never wastes pain. He never allows His children to suffer without purpose. And though you did not understand it, then, though you questioned why He allowed you to walk through such a storm, you see it now. You see that you were not abandoned. You were being elevated. You see that you were not forgotten. You are being refined. The enemy tried to convince you that you were broken, that you were beyond repair, that you had lost too much to ever recover. But let me tell you something today. You are not broken. You are rebuilt. You are restored. You are stronger than ever before. The narcissist thought they had the final say in your life. They thought they could break you beyond repair, that they could leave you empty and drained. But they underestimated something powerful. They underestimated the God within you. Because when the enemy thought he had won, when he thought you were too tired to keep fighting, God stepped in. God lifted you up. God reminded you of who you are. You are not weak. You are a warrior. You are not defeated. You are victorious. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. And now, as you stand at the threshold of this new chapter in your life, walk boldly. Walk with confidence, with faith, with an unshakable certainty. Certainty that your best days are ahead of you. The love you deserve, the purpose you were created, for the peace that your soul longs for, it is all waiting for you. So let go of what was. Release the weight of what could have been. Stop looking back at a door that God has already closed, because your future is calling, and it is brighter than anything you have ever imagined. You were never meant to stay in that place. You were meant to rise. You were meant to walk in power. You were meant to live in the fullness of God's promises. And now you are free. Free from the past. Free from the pain. Free from anything that was ever meant to hold you back. And that is what victory looks like.